Hey guys, so today we thought we'd talk about all the different little issues we've had. We haven't had any like major expensive issues, but we've had a few small ones.
We are
the RV Vikings!
So, we actually had an issue with the fridge. When we went and checked it out, it actually ran and it started to cool down and we thought we were good. We were wrong. So we tried to cool it down at my mom's and it wouldn't work. First we went and checked the fuse box and there was a 30 amp fuse in a 5 amp spot. So we figured something must have blown.
And the problem was the lights wouldn't turn on inside, so I figured it was the top board. But we called the medic to make sure, and they directed us back here.
And so we got a new board, and luckily my husband has some experience with electrical diagrams and hooking things up electrically because he got our fridge going.
Because in here, you have what they call the lower board. And they have your basic wiring diagram, but you do need to note that if you have an aftermarket one, like what we had.
Which it was like a dinosaur?
Yep. Dinosaur Electronics is the one that was in there. The gal hadn't even heard of it, but it was some third party. You think you'd be able to just unplug and play with the new one. Would you grab the diagram, please? Thank you. But they actually have different plug setups. So this one I actually had to rewire for, but this one's an actual Dometic parts. They told me that they would have charged about 180, so they said look on eBay, you'll find it for cheaper, and I got it for 134 bucks.
So awesome customer service with Dometic.
Oh yeah, Dometic was
awesome.
Excellent
Very
for that.
Nice gal.
And luckily they included the wiring diagrams. So if you're not familiar with wiring diagrams, I would not fiddle around with it too much, but I was able to rewire and change the board out myself. So just note that you do need to be careful because like I just noted in one of the videos there, this one's cracked. And I checked the fuses on it because it does have fuses here and here. So I double checked the fuses before changing the board. But this is a fairly common issue if something goes wrong, is to be the lower board before the upper board is what she told me. So that was getting it running. Oh, also, our propane isn't wanting to ignite by itself, so I may need to double check some of the wire connections back in here. I haven't pulled this board off yet.
So we're having to light it when we switch to propane.
You can light it manually with a lighter by sticking it through there. I can show you right here. All we do is we take one of these. Just be careful, there are wires in here, and so you don't want to burn any of these wires. Your pilot light's right here. So what I like to do is I stick this in and push it all the way to the bottom, double check, make sure there aren't any wires, and then light it. And that's the way I lit the pilot light. Otherwise, taking this off, you can be more accurate. So that would probably be the safest way to do it. Take that off to relight your pilot light. Otherwise, this trick will work.
So another one of our problems, which I thought it was going to be a major problem, but it ended up being a slight problem, was on Freya's birthday, we woke up to a knock on the door saying, hey, you're leaking water from your bay.
And it was a lot of water.
Oh,
I got a little video
goodness.
right here. Okay. This is what we woke up to. Is it still filling, or does it look like it's stopped coming out as fast?
Slow down.
Turn the water off. Yeah, it's slowing down. What is that? Let's see. Some compressor. All this is us. So maybe the gray water was full. Well, once we get it down to a certain point, then we can turn it on, we can check, see if there's like some lines or something. There weren't any faucets on though?
Nothing on. The faucets, the toilet wasn't.
You double check the things. I turned the water off. See.
Yeah, and the shower wasn't on.
It's funny. Interesting. Yeah, it's been on for a while. It's been good for the last week.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to start the morning.
It was insane. And so what had happened was the hose, which he can probably get a better shot in there, the hose.
I've got some video that puts us right up there behind it.
The hose had actually like come loose. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but
The hose had come loose, the fitting had actually moved.
and so a water pump, I thought at first that we actually had a cracked water tank or a cracked pipe, and so I was just like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do?
How many bays did it flood?
It flooded all 3 of these bays.
Well, show how much room is in there. All of this was flooded, so that's a full-size piece of luggage right there. That's what that is.
And so we had to air our luggage out because they were soaked.
And there's another piece of luggage. This whole thing was filled right up as high as this, and I was pushing the water out. So the result of the flood is a few bags wet. That carpet was drenched. I may or may not put that back in. Who knows? We'll see. It's kind of drying. The bags are drying, but they're just layers of wet.
Yeah, well, it was apparently had been going off since 3:30, so.
Yeah, it's a little bit drenched.
And our motorhome's apparently really soundproof, and we're really tired because we didn't hear them knock on the door.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. So, the problem was right in here. Right on the other side of this. This is our water pump, our onboard water pump. On the other side, there was a hose with tubing. I can show some pictures, but that separated off at first. And so I tried to push it back on, tried to put some little bit of glue stuff around it, some silicone. Yeah, see, we're totally dry still. But I tried to put it back together, toss a little silicone stuff on it, just anything to stop it. But the hose was this kind of hose, and it was just leaking all over. So I replaced the hose, the fittings, and a couple of the bits and pieces. But this bay, which is actually starting to dry out pretty well, I had to close these two because they aren't covered by the slide. Those ones I left open so it could continue to kind of air dry. You can still see some water in there. So, and it's not energized anymore. It was on some cables. So I'm gonna try and dry some of this out. Most of it drained out. As you can see, it gets dry when you go over here. It's not bad over here anymore. Just a little damp. I've got a towel. We don't have a hairdryer or anything. That's not a must-have for Patty. Had to shut the electricity off every time I was pushing the water out in the video earlier. You could feel the electricity. Luckily it was like a 12 volt, so nothing like what you don't play with normally. And I was able to kind of brush some of the water out. Most of this is from rain though, not the pipe. Sweet. And that was that.
Luckily these things have like a fiberglass bottom, and the carpet on the top was fraying anyways, so we got to throw it away.
Patty's always happy when we can throw things away.
And so we had to let them dry out, and luckily all the clothes were pretty much in air seal bags, so we only had like a few things that were
wash
wet.
And we lost my old Lumia phone. But we did find out that there's this compressor, so I don't know what it's going to take to get that thing running, but that's a compressor.
We have to figure it out. I have to try and find the paperwork. If you guys have any ideas about how to use that thing, please let us know.
Yeah, I've got to look it up online and start looking for YouTube videos. So if you have a link to a good video of how to get the air compressor, onboard air compressor running, let me know, because we got the air springs and the wheels, and I'd love to figure that out.
But like I said, just a few minor issues, nothing really expensive.
Oh, it could have been expensive when it came to the washer.
Oh, yeah, so I read the manual to that washer, and it said to clean the filter screen. And so I'm like, okay, and I'm looking for this filter screen, and I
Well, show us, yeah.
I hadn't seen it, but I saw this down here, and it says filter. It was, I forget the name.
In a couple nights.
But I was doing laundry, and all of a sudden Thor comes in and he goes, what are you doing? There are bubbles coming out of the dryer vent.
So, I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced this. This is our dryer vent. I'm going to pull this door. I'm not sure if she just added too much soap or what, but that's not supposed to be happening. That's a dryer vent. That's not sealed. So, I'm not sure if she just added too much soap and it breached. What did you do? Excuse me, first. Noise. Oh, by the way, these buttons fall off all the time. You can hear the noise difference.
See, it's draining.
I just want to make sure there aren't any leaks. Alright, well, I'm not seeing any leaks yet. No real water.
After this, so we can check the drain water.
Yeah, we can check this. Apparently there's a little filter in there. I don't know if we're supposed to replace it or just clean it out, so I guess we'll find out after this load. Because that was the first time that we ever had that, huh, baby?
Yeah, and I didn't use more soap than usual or anything.
We might want to lighten up on it, buying the good soap.
Want to call the the boys and I got their food?
Sure. Ooh, leftovers.
Yeah. I'm getting yours set up right now.
Hey, it's time for food.
Yeah, how do we want to eat outside?
Oh, they were asking about eating outside. Do you want them inside? There's definitely still some dripping. Just try to kind of clean that out. I don't want it sitting and leaking in between these edges, because this is not a waterproof pipe.
What happened to the muffin?
Yeah, you see that was such a happy toe bag, huh? But it was broken. Are you happy then?
Alright. Well, I just figured I'd document that. That was not exactly an expected event.
And so, we found you have to Thor's better at it. He can pull it out.
You actually twist it. It's screwed in there.
Okay, well, I'll let you do it.
All right. Okay, Miss Freya. We haven't cleaned it since we...
What we found when we
Did last
pulled it
time.
out, we didn't get a picture or anything, but it was bad. I know, we're filming.
You can see right here, this catches everything from going down into the sewer, which is really interesting. So we'll actually clean this before putting it back in. It does say filter must be fully closed to avoid flooding. Okay, it's not leaking, it's flooding. So make sure when you take it out and work on this, that this is well cleaned and put back in tightly.
And I would say maybe once every couple weeks take it out, because I've used it about a week.
Yeah, I would say probably 2 to 3 weeks, depending. Probably right in the neighborhood of around 20 loads. That's right around. Patty does a lot of laundry, lots of kids. So yeah, we'll get this thing washed and get this put back in there, and we should be good.
So those are just the few minor issues we've had with the coach. Like I said, nothing expensive, nothing that broke the bank, but just the issues we've had. Of course, it's a used coach, and so there will be issues. And we still have to do things like change the oil filter on the generator.
Yeah, keep in mind when you buy one of these things, you're going to be spending more money than the purchase price, regardless of what people say the condition is.
Yes, definitely. And so just know when you do buy a coach, like he said, you will be putting money into it. And
I think so far we've put, about $250 or so into bits and pieces for the hose, the panel for the fridge, and WD-40 and
definitely. But it's a good coach overall. The engine runs good. And so I love my coach. I do.
And we've still got the tires to do. The tires are old. They say that's around $2 grand. The struts, I figure, should probably be checked, and the brakes feel a little bit soft when towing. But then again, I'm pretty sure with that and the tow dolly that we're probably max weight, if not a little bit over.
So we just wanted to share with you guys just a few things that we've had to do. And thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions about any work we've done or anything else, please just leave them in the comments and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can.